Yeah, the most memorable moment for me was we did a 90-day planning session, and we did a testimonial DVD from it, and I wasn't in the room while the customers were all going in and giving their testimonials. And when I saw it back, one of the customers who I still work with now, who was a close friend of mine, was actually in tears during the testimonial, and that was, for me, because of the results they've got and the difference it's made to their lives and their business, that was definitely the most powerful moment for me in Action so far.
Trying to define a particular time as an action coach to talk about to camera is very, very difficult, because every client is different, and the experiences and the involvement you get with their business and the support you're able to give them is fantastic. I suppose there's a couple I could draw on. One particular that just jumps to mind. I had a client who was going through a real difficult time in their business, and that's not always the case. Sometimes people are just ready to accelerate the business when I first get involved with them. But this client was told me everything was all right, but when we looked at the detail, he was losing between £8,000 and £10,000 a week in his business. And we couldn't have carried on like that for very long before we'd have run out of all the collateral. The house had been remortgaged, we'd have run out of money, we'd have had to close the business down and lay off about 25 people. And that was the scenario when he joined me. I made that commitment to him that I would check whether it was possible to turn his business around or not, and I wouldn't take him on as a client unless I thought we could be successful with him. But we had to be realistic, because I don't go into a business and sprinkle magic dust. This is hard work. We need you to make your business work correctly, and we decided to follow a particular approach. The fact is, we turned it around, and within 4 months he was now not losing money. Within 6 months he was profitable, and within 9 months he'd put his deposit down, he'd bought his Aston Martin, we were gone to making, after everything else, all the operational costs, a pure bottom line profit of over £40,000 a month from that kind of loss. And I think that's memorable, because that changes somebody's life, which is dramatic for you as the coach. It's fantastic to know that you have that kind of effect on people, but the stuff we do is as powerful as that. There isn't a single business anywhere on the planet that shouldn't have a coach and shouldn't be helped, but we don't try and convince them of that. I only take clients on when I think I want to work with them, and that's the relationship I build with people. But I know I can get fantastic results with clients, and to know that you can have that kind of impact is the most memorable part of what we do. And that particular one is a strong example. It's not always as easy as that, and it's not always those kind of large figures. Sometimes it's just getting them to be making an extra 20% in 12 months on the bottom line can dramatically change the business owner's life, and those are the memorable moments I have so far.
The most memorable moment will be when one of my key clients was able to retire from a business that he'd put all his pension money in from previously working in a corporate environment, and realising that instead of being trapped, he was now free and could enjoy the rest of his life.
Business can come from anywhere at any time. One of the most memorable experiences I had within Action was when I got a phone call from a local business owner who suggested we meet up for a chat and go for lunch. Where we went for lunch, there was also a spa area. We decided, let's go for a swim. As we were swimming, we were going up the middle of the pool, talking about business and stuff. We're giving it the old breaststroke. He turned round to me and he said, "Okay, let's go for it." I think that's the one and only time that a diag's been conducted and signed off in a swimming pool.
There are many memorable moments that I look back on in terms of action coaching. A specific one that I'd bring to mind would be a team alignment that I did with a nursery, a children's nursery. There were 22 ladies in the room and myself, and we were having a session about where the nursery was going, its aims, its ambitions, and at the end, Action have something called a whiffle, whereby everybody gets their chance to express what they're feeling, what they're talking about. And literally out of 22 ladies in the room, there were 16 of them in tears, with the ability to express and talk about their business, their jobs, their careers, the nursery going forward. And it was mind-blowing. I was almost in tears. So that's one, but it's one of many memorable moments.
One of the most memorable moments that I've had so far was just a few months ago when I received an email from my very first client, and the email contained a picture of his baby son, his first child that had just been born. Now, Toby, my client, has actually moved to Canada, so I'm not coaching him anymore. But the reason that this was memorable was because when I first met him, his business was just hanging on by its bootstraps. He was heavily in debt to not only the banks, but also to his father, and he was just about hanging on, and had been hanging on probably for 10 years. As a result of the work that we did together, he was able to build the business, so we managed to grow sales and make it profitable. He was able to pay off his debts, including the debt to his father, which was really important to him. He put a general manager in to run the business in the UK, and he chose to move to Canada to start generating sales in North America. Having moved to Canada, he met his wife, and then they had their first child. So I was so chuffed to receive that email with that picture of his son.
There's a number of memorable times. If I look back over the last 4 or 5 years as an action coach, I suppose one of the biggest that comes to mind is nearly 2 years ago we were in Fiji at our global conference, and I remember sending out a video email that I recorded on my laptop while sat just to the side of the bar looking over the Pacific Ocean, and I sent it out to my clients. And when I got back, we were talking about work-life balance, and one of my clients said, "Yeah, but you were working while you were out there." And we had a bit of a laugh around, "Do you remember that video email I sent you?" Well, 2 minutes later I was in the swimming pool drinking a beer. If you want to argue that's work, then you're more than welcome to. So really sort of coaching my clients and working with them while being in somewhere just as amazing and exotic as Fiji. And also from that, we were sat talking to a colleague who turned around and said, "Well, why wouldn't you fly your clients out here, other than the distance?" And 18 months later on, we've just flown half a dozen of our clients down to southern Spain to run a 2-day business planning weekend. Had a couple of days chilling out and fishing with the clients, and then we flew them back, and that was just amazing. The response from that and the power they got from that was incredible. So that's just two to name of probably dozens or hundreds.